Mm. Mm. Oh man, you can't beat a good cup of tea. It can't be beat. I know there's coffee lovers and stuff out there, but we English up in this place, man. Just a nice cup of tea in a good mug. Look at that. Look at that beautiful thing. It's just ridiculous. Welcome to the Flat Earth Podcast. My name is Rick Flat. I'm your host. If you want to find out anything more about the podcast and what we're doing, head on over to our website, which is theflatearthpodcast.com. Make sure you put in 2 T's when you write flat, otherwise you will go to some other places I can't be responsible for. On the website, you'll find past episodes, more information about us, blog, hopefully coming soon some merch, which I'm kind of excited about. Also, there's a little PayPal button on there. There'll be some other buttons coming soon, but if you want to buy a brother a Mars bar, a cup of tea, Lamborghini, you do what you got to do, but please head on over there, check it out. Also, we're doing more stuff on YouTube now. If you're watching this on YouTube and not just listening to the audio, would you do me a strong favor? Would you just like this video? Would you subscribe to the channel? Maybe link it to a friend, throw it about if you enjoyed it, you think there's people who would like it as well. We're trying to do more this year. We started a little bit last year, but now we're in double digits. We all grown up. We big boys now. So we're looking to do a lot more video content this year. So it really helped me if this channel kind of gets knocked out about a little bit and people get to see a lot more of it. Today I want to do something really simple. We're not going to hang around too long. It's the new year. We're all busy. We've got stuff going on. We're still clearing up from Christmas. We're still kind of getting past that and kind of getting into a new January rhythm. So I just want to give you a few tips about the new year that I've kind of picked up, a little habit I've done for about 15 years now. Maybe we'll talk about a couple of other things, but pretty much in and out. We'll be back to our normal format now, post-Christmas, post-COVID, all that, of a guest in the studio and then this sort of just you and me time. We'll be getting back to 1 week on, 1 week off, just so you know. Also, a little caveat, I'm not sure that I will always be able to post videos of the long form sort of guest conversations we have that are maybe an hour and a half and stuff. They take place at night with whiskey and cigars. They get out of hand, so I don't know if I want video evidence of them, but we'll see. Going forward, we'll definitely try and do it, but at the moment it might be more content of just me and you stuff and then extra video stuff we're doing. So let me talk to you a little bit about New Year's. I hope you had a good Christmas. I hope you had a break. I hope you had a chance to do all the things you wanted to do with all the people you wanted to do it with, even despite the world's current confusion about what you should do and where you should go and who you should do it with. I want to give you a little bit of advice, I guess, really just tell you about some stuff that I do normally in between Boxing Day and New Year, but often like this year, sort of running into January. You've still got time. We're still early in January. It's still something that will work. Like I say, for around like 15 years now, somewhere in that region, I have begun a process. Maybe someone might call it a ceremony, a ritual, a habit, just something that I do. I don't try and put too much on it, but there's just something that I do that helps me transition from one year into another, and I thought it would be really good. People who know me know I do this, and I've spoken about it before with them, but I thought I've not spoken about it on this podcast yet because this is the first kind of new year we've had together. But I want to offer this to you just to see if it's helpful for you. If it's not, whatever, man, just brush it by and wait for kind of the next podcast and other information and stuff. So I said in the introduction to the podcast, which you can get on Spotify, incidentally, not all the stuff, or not all of our back catalogue is up on YouTube because we didn't do video at first. But if you jump onto Spotify every Thursday, the episodes are up. If you do and you go back to the introduction video, I answer a couple of questions about what this podcast is. And one of the things I address in that video is that I'm a man of faith. I believe in God, and that will inform certain things I do on this podcast, but this podcast is in no way about that. This isn't a religious podcast. This isn't a Christian podcast as such. It's just a podcast. But there are going to be moments where my faith and my take on the world intersect with stuff I want to talk to you about. And today is one such day. So for me, I have grown into this habit, like I say, over the last 15 years of taking some time out between 4 hours and like a whole day, some point between Boxing Day and hopefully between the Boxing Day and the New Year, but if not very early in the New Year, to make some space in my life and spend some time dwelling on the previous year and looking forward to the next year. Now, a lot of us will do that. We might have our own kind of strategy, our own mechanisms for doing that. For me, it has become something which I've called, and I don't know how I end up at this name, but I just kind of did, my review with God. My review. I think I was working in a job at the time where I'd have a yearly, or was supposed to have a yearly review. So I thought, I don't want to like, okay, I got a yearly review with my boss or whatever. But I'm not really interested in that. I'm really not interested. I'd rather do a review with God. I'd rather look at a bigger picture of where I'm at rather than just how I'm doing in a particular role that I was currently being paid for back then. So I began this process, and let me tell you, it breaks down to 4 parts, this process. Very simple, very easy to remember. Now, don't be alarmed. If you're not someone who says they believe in God, if you're not someone who says that there's someone with faith or someone that prays, that's fine. Don't worry. A lot of this stuff is going to cross over. Some of it not maybe in the same way, but don't worry. Don't like run away. It's all right. You just stay right where you are. This will work for you. So I get permission to disconnect, like I say, for at least 4 hours, hopefully a whole day. And it's important for me to get permission. I am married. I have 2 kids. I have responsibilities. And I don't want to try and sneak off for 2 hours, say I'm doing something else and try and go and sort my mind out about last year and the next year. I want a set time where I get permission from the people that I've got responsibility for. I say, look, I'm going to be gone. I need 4 hours. Can I do it on this day? Can I disappear for the whole day? You need to know that when I do go, I'm taking the car. You do need to know that you will not be able to contact me. My phone will be on airport or off. I'm gone. You get that permission because it gives you entire space to be separate, to kind of disconnect from normal life. You know, the moment you sit down to try and concentrate and do something in life, suddenly every interruption possible will come your way. Suddenly you remember, I've got to put the washing on. I've got to clean this. I've got to put some fuel in the car. I've got to get some shopping. I've got to buy that thing. I've got to reply to that email. Suddenly just the moment you try and focus and do something, I don't know about you, you get this resistance just comes at you. This distraction just comes at you. So you need straight away to get permission to, as far as you can, disconnect from all that stuff. Just walk away from it. Just be like, I'm done, right? So I get permission, so I feel guilt-free about doing it. For me, I often will head to certain places. I love the sea, so sometimes I head to the nearest beach. I love forests. I love being out in nature. So there are certain places that I know and love that I will go to just to be able to walk around. I'll listen to music while I'm doing this. I'm not like a monk. I'm not taking a vow of silence. Do you know what I mean? But I will have some music, normally some instrumental stuff or some acoustic stuff, so there's not too much input of words and images and concepts coming into my brain. Anyway, so you get away, if you can get some space. Now, this might be, in some ways, might be easy for some of us at the moment if you're not working from home. The levels of permissions have to be in places are different nowadays. Maybe you can find margin more. Maybe if you're one of the suckers right now that's isolating because you've got a cold, then you've maybe already got space. You could do this in your bedroom. You could do this in the kitchen, in the lounge, whatever you've got to do. You haven't got to run away to some sunrise vista somewhere. Just find some space. So I'm waffling. Find your space. And then the first part of the process is this. It's to do with counting your blessings. It's to do with being thankful or grateful. So what I do is I think back over the last year. So this year I'm thinking about 2021. And I'm thinking, what am I grateful for? Like, what am I really appreciative of? Now, you might have had a real bitch of a year, a real dog of a year, and you might think, oh God, there's nothing good about that year. I'm glad it's behind me. But I'd say even in the worst of times, you can find stuff that's good. You can find stuff that's worth being thankful for. So I start with really simple things. And again, this is where the God component for me comes in. For you, maybe not, but it doesn't matter. You can still, maybe you need to write a list of things you're grateful for. Maybe that's it, just to write it down and look at it yourself. But for me, I begin to openly, audibly, if I'm alone, like, thank God. Thank you for my wife. Thank you for my marriage. Thank you for my kids. I say thank you for my house, that I have a roof, that I've not been homeless this year. Thank you for, I could thank him for this space. Thank him that I've got this space to work in, be creative in. Thank you for my car, for my phone, for my computer. Thank you for health. Thank you for my friends. Anything you can remember. Maybe you were one of the lucky people, you managed to get away on holiday last year, somewhere outside of your country. Thank him for that. Just, it's interesting. The moment you begin to be grateful, the moment you begin to kind of list it, even if you think you've had a crummy year, the moment you begin to count your blessings, man, it comes in like a wave, and you're like, oh wow, I've got so much to be grateful for. You know, even in the most difficult time, even in sickness, even in pain, there is still stuff to be grateful for, to be thankful for. So that's the first part, gratitude, thankfulness. Then the next part is I look at my previous year and I go, what did I love about last year? What was it about last year that just was amazing? Now you can list those out. It could be a holiday, moment with a friend. It could be some experience you had. It could be a new job. It could be leaving an old job. It could be any moment you have. Do you know what I mean? It could be moments of intimacy with your partner. It could be great meals you had, great films you saw. Not the Matrix, though, not that bullshit. You know, and what is it? What were the great moments of 2021 for you? Maybe secretly, amidst all the chaos of the COVID shit from last year, you actually enjoyed permission to be alone, to not see people. Maybe you enjoyed a reduced Christmas just gone. You had like, oh, you know, Omicron, we better not, you avoid like creepy Uncle Bert. Do you know what I mean? Just because like you could. Whatever it is, what things went really well? What things did you love? There's always some moments that were good, even in the worst year. And I think about those. What went really well? What things did I begin to do last year? What habits did I begin to build that I want to carry into 2022? So maybe in 2021, you decide I'm going to get fit, and you found that to be like a spring of life for you, like a well of life. And you're like, 2022, I definitely want to do that again. What, maybe you sorted out some stuff financially for yourself. You got in a better position. Maybe you faced some fears and you realize, okay, I need to be a braver person or a louder person or a kinder person. What things did you begin to do in 2021 that are worthy to be dragged into 2022? So first thing, gratefulness. Second thing, what went really well last year that you want to carry over? Third thing I do is I am very honest, and I think, what sucked last year? What was horrible last year? What do I not want to repeat? Or rather, there's maybe a more nuanced question here. What things didn't go the way I wanted them to last year? And why? And for me, this is where I'm able to pray and I say to God, like, I was really looking forward to such and such, but it didn't seem to go well. Why is that? Why is that? And I have these questions. Part 1, thankfulness. Part 2, what went really well last year? Part 3, what was really horrible, what sucked, what went badly last year? And then the fourth part, which for me takes the most time, to be honest with you, it's the thing that the majority of the time is taken up by. Oh, so good. So I take, like I say, the majority of the time, And what I begin to do is I just begin to quieten myself and dwell and listen. I'm considering now in my mind, I've already got the things I'm grateful for, the blessings I have. I've already got in my mind the things that are good, the things that are bad. And now I begin to quieten myself. I get into a meditative, I don't know how to say that word. I begin to get into a chilled space in my body and in my mind. And I just, normally this is where it's helpful for me to be out walking around. I'm just walking around. Maybe I've got some music on, maybe it's complete silence. And for me, I begin to ask about this year. So I ask God, my question will be this year, because hands up, I've not done it yet. I've got to try and get some time over the weekend or something to do this. I'm late this year because of various things. But my question will be, like, for me, it's like asking God, what is 2022? What is important for me to carry this year? Now, I will go further and I will ask, and I've learned to ask God for, what's the theme? What's a word? What's going to be kind of like the chapter head in the title over 2022? Now, you might not feel you can do that. You might listen to me talking about that and go like, you're a fool, like, whatever, man. You know what I mean? It's all right. Horses for courses, isn't it? And for you, it might just be taking some time and going, what is 2022 going to be? And you might have to choose your own words, you know, and sometimes that'll work, sometimes it won't. But for me, I want to draw into some quietness, draw aside into some stillness. And I want to ask God, like, okay, what is this year about? And like I say, previous years, I've asked for, like, what's a theme, what's a word? And this might be something new to you, even if you're someone who would call themselves a Christian or say you believe in God or whatever. I don't, you know, let me be honest with you. I don't like the word Christian. I don't like it. I've grown to really have a problem with it. Like I say, you know, maybe you don't. I was a pastor for like 15 years. I've been a Christian, if you want to say that, since I was 17. But for me, Christian has come to represent a whole bad collection of images that aren't real to me. So for me, I had an encounter with the person of God when I was 17, and I have tried to live my life praying, worshiping, and following God ever since. That's what I've been doing. And I don't know if you noticed, let me kick you a little bit of knowledge, that the word Christian is not even it's not even something you should use as a badge of honor. You see, when the original Christians, essentially they were Jewish guys and girls, they met this man, this person of Jesus, the Christ, and they were so shocked, so changed, so enamored and overpowered by the person of Jesus. They began to live mad lives, and the government at the time didn't like this, the ruling power. They began to kill them, you know what I mean? So it was a term of mockery that grew. You see, these Christians, and they weren't yet your Christians like you get now. They weren't like the old people in church. They weren't these musty people who want to, ban fun and talk against this and talk against that. These Christians were radical revolutionaries, to the point where as they were being thrown to the lions or burned at the stake or beheaded or hung or stoned to death, whatever it was, they did it maybe not with a smile but with honor, and they held themselves up. But one of the terms that was used for them was like, oh, look at these idiots, look at these little, they called them little Jesuses. Look at them, little Christs. That's what Christian means, little Christs. And at some point, Christians took this on as a badge of honor. And I get it. I'm not an idiot. I've been around a bit. But for me, it's begun to take on a life of its own, that phrase, to say I'm a Christian. It has taken on like a weird grossness. Whereas for me, it's like all I'm trying to do is follow this person, Jesus. That's all I'm trying to do here. And I've found that it's done nothing but add value to my life. Anyway, enough. We're not getting into this sort of stuff right now. Needless to say, I ask for a theme or a word for the year. That's what I'm about. And I've had this before. Like one year, I went out to the Peak District, which is in England, a section a part of England with lots of peaks, lots of hills, lots of trees and greenery. It's beautiful. I got lost because I always get lost whenever I go anywhere new. I get lost when I go somewhere like old. I'm pretty much getting lost basically if I'm going somewhere. It's a problem, man. Even sat navs don't help. My sat nav's just a problem too. So I'm out on the Peak District and I've been out all day. And I've done the first 3 things and I'm into the 4th thing and it's not happening, man. I'm walking around and I feel like there's nothing happening. I don't feel like I'm being spoken to. I'm not feeling the vibe. I'm not getting anything. Then all of a sudden, I'm leant up against these old walls that was broken down. I'm sitting there thinking, I'm just going to go home in a minute. This is some bullshit. And because it happens, man. The life of faith isn't like super strong all the time. It's an odd thing. And all of a sudden, in my question of what is this year about, I get this thing of remission. This is a couple of years ago, 2017, 2018. Remission. Oh. Because the only connection I've got to that word and anything is remission is to do with cancer. I've had friends who have had cancer and then they've gone into remission. So I was like, oh, whoa, what? I'm gonna get cancer this year? Like, that's not good. I could have done without hearing that, to be honest with you. But no, it's a little bit deeper kind of meaning of the word remission is essentially it's the ceasing or the removing of pain. And I was like, oh, so that year, I can't remember exactly what year it was. I have to look back in my notes, but that year is going to be about the removal or the ceasing of pain. And for the rest of the year, as different things happened, I began to realize, oh, wow, there are chapters coming to a close in my life, relationally, maybe career-wise, maybe about eras in my life that are coming to a close. And I didn't realize that they were a friction, a burden, a weight on me until they were removed, until there was a remission of that pain. I was like, oh, so that whole year changed for me. And there's been a couple of other things like this, but so I'm digressing here, man. We're like 25 minutes in. I don't want to be like, 20 odd minutes in here. So a review of your year, for me, a review with God, thankfulness, what worked last year, what didn't work last year, what is the theme, what is the driving force for this year. Do yourself a favor, whatever you do. If you decide to engage in any kind of process of looking at last year and before you come to this one and looking forward, make sure you write this down. I'm terrible at this, man. I've started a bit more now, just kind of chuck it in the phone, right? You know what I mean? But make notes of what you hear, what you gather in your memory, what you decide about what this year's going to be. Make sure that you do have a record of that. And I say all this to you guys just because I think it's really, and I learned this in the 15 years I was a pastor and I'd watch people's lives. I think I learned it's really important to have moments in life where you stop and you look at your life. People in business, when they're running a business, they talk about, I was so rushed and had so much work to do in the business, I was never able to work on the business. They mean I'm so busy in the day-to-day of stock and transactions and relationships and incomes and outcomes and taxes and whatever infrastructure that I wasn't able to step out of the day-to-day stuff and really look at what is my business doing? What is my business actually about? What is it actually producing? What is it actually costing? And for me, the new year for people is a chance for us to stop working in our lives, just being busy, and start working on our lives, actually going, what is my life actually about? What do I actually value? And what right now am I really investing in? So write it down. I hope this has been helpful. Please do it if you can find some time to. I know it's not easy for everyone, but it will be of great value for you. And if you do write it down, if you do get an idea of themes and words for your year, write them somewhere, stick them somewhere, have reminders of them. On here, right here, you don't get to see this, but I've got like an idea board, like a project board here. I try not to get it on camera because I don't want you to steal my stuff, but like have something like that. Have something in your life that reminds you of what you decided to walk away from in the previous year and walk into in the next year. Guys, I think that's probably about it. I was going to talk to you about some other stuff. Let me just say a couple of things. I am really excited about 2022. In the next video, which is going to be up before next Thursday, so we'll do one in between, I'm going to talk to you about a bunch of different things I've got planned for this year, for the YouTube channel, for the podcast. I am like super excited. There's one thing in particular that we are going to begin. Well, I've begun, but we're going to come out video wise. It's a challenge that I'm going to take on, and some of you can take on with me if you want, from now until the end of May, which is at the end of May is my birthday. 28th of May, I turn 46, and I've decided to do this fitness project, I guess. It's going to be interesting. You know, the internet likes a couple of things. It likes to see people attempt things and win at it, and more than that, it likes to see people attempt things and fail at it. I think I might be in the latter camp. I think we're going to try something here. It's going to go badly, but we're going to do it together. I'm going to document every step of the way so that you can laugh at me. Anyway, till then, blessings. Please check out the website. Like I say, please like and subscribe the video if this has been helpful for you. Leave a comment if you can. Whatever you got to do is what you got to do. Bless you guys. Keep the earth flat. Keep yourself busy. Later.